Hello, everybody. Welcome. Mike here from
Jedi Archives.
And I'm joined by Bryce.
We're also in partnership with Star Wars Comic Book Club Facebook group and Star Wars Book Nerds.
With Lakota Schultz, who unfortunately could not join us today, and also Jonathan Chiato, who's also out today, so you get us.
Yeah.
We're going to be reviewing Star Wars The High Republic Adventures issue 13, which is the final issue of this series.
Yes, very good issue too. And a direct continuation of 12, where we left off last time.
Yes, and I'm going to share my screen to get over to League of Comic Geeks. Can you see that?
Oh yeah, yep.
And here we have the original cover. And very reminiscent of the High Republic series when Keeve gets knighted.
Yep, back on the Marvel main line, yep.
I really like this cover. I like seeing all the lightsabers of different colors. It's very colorful.
Yes.
All their faces.
Yep. No, this is probably my favorite cover.
We have the variant cover here. Different style of artwork.
That was like the artwork that we saw four or five issues I think back. It's that similar style. But
yeah.
Love the Loth Cat down there in the lower right.
Yes. This one looked a lot more like being on Batuu.
Yeah.
Gave me that feel. The marketplace, and we've got Lula, we've got Zine, and of course I love. How can you not love a Loth Cat?
Yeah. Yeah, cool cover.
Here. And here it says, "For Light and Life." Join Daniel Jose Older and Harvey Tolibao in this emotional finale to phase 1 of the High Republic Adventures. With their latest mission behind them, the Padawan face their greatest challenge yet, the future. Farzala and Court are ready to take the next steps, but Lula can't shake her emotions, as is the Jedi way. She's been trained for battle, for diplomatic relations, for rescue missions. She was never trained for a heart that aches for more. Through it all, though, they are guided by the wise words of the Jedi, for light and for life. Got the characters in this issue, which is Bibbs, Ishnar, Lula, Ram. You know what? Ram, I didn't see him in the last issue when he was listed.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Ty York is. I don't know if she is mentioned in this issue, but I don't know if there's a picture of her either.
I remember seeing a picture for her. It'll come up. I'll show you that one. And then we've got Zine for sure. Cham Cham, one of my favorites. Cantum Sai, which is Lula's master. Obertuck Glay, Tabakan Pack, B18, Zint. Zint is someone new who I'm so excited about.
Yeah.
We've got Farzala, Crix, Quart, Torben Buck, and Yoda. And Quart's funny because they showed him here with a little face mask when he was young. But of course, he no longer has the mask.
Correct.
Interesting.
And I think a few of these, like Ram might be just on the cover there in the photo with.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's why they're mentioned. Okay.
Same with Yoda. He's not in the issue. I think he's just getting
right. He's just trying to cover. Correct.
Yeah.
All right. And so let's get into this issue. And like you said, Bryce, on the cover we've got a bunch of Jedi. Of course, there's Yoda, but he's not really in this issue. It starts out For Light and Life, and it's very focused on Lula and Zine. And here we have them. So in the last issue, they've just captured Crix.
Yep.
And so they're heading back with Crix.
Yep. We have direct pickup now that he's aboard the Skyhopper, and they are heading back
in their vectors. And we have a little flashback here. Lula's being reflective and thinking back to when she was rescued by her master.
Yep,
and
on Naboo.
Yep, on Naboo. And I love this because if you've read Midnight Horizon, you get a lot more details about Lula's backstory. And she is from Naboo, and she was in an orphanage, which I like a lot. and she had to be rescued. And so her master saw her and was able to rescue her. And this is that scene. What this doesn't show you, though, is that Lula, when he was rescuing her, caught how he was rescuing her and mimicked it and saved another orphan who was also going to fall and die. And that's when he's like, how did you do that? She's like, well, I just saw what you did and I did it. So I thought that was really cool. So I love this scene because I vividly remember that from the book.
Nice.
And shows how powerful she is because she had never been trained.
Right. Yep.
On the spot did it. And so then, of course, they take her because he realizes, oh, she's very powerful. We need to take her and train her. Which I thought was strange because she looks kind of old. Did she look too old to begin the training?
Yeah, but then again, look how old Luke was when he started training as well. So
that's true. That's true.
But this is back when, the Jedi were at their height. So their rules and everything were a lot different than what we came to notice. So
that's for sure. A lot more variety, right? Because I've noticed that in the High Republic, a lot of different trains of thought in the Jedi, not just one mindset. So I love that diversity.
Yeah, very cool.
So she's going back and remembering her training from when she first started. And she's thinking a lot led up to this moment. And I like this scene a lot because this looks it just reminds me of Luke in his X-Wing.
Yeah.
Looks really good. I do love the vectors. And then Master Buck starts talking to Lula. And he starts telling her that he was specifically chosen to fly with her because they tasked him to speak with her about something. Yeah. So Lulu thinks she might be in trouble. But really what it is he wants her to see if she's ready to be knighted.
Yes. Yeah. Which is weird because it's not what she was thinking he was going to ask her.
No, it's not, right. Because she was like,
it's what we've come to expect in the series since we started reading about her that, she's just going to become a really great Jedi Knight. And so the question for us was almost like that was what was expected, but she's like, nah, it's not what I thought you were going to say.
And I really like that a lot because it shows that the Jedi aren't so simple as you would imagine, that they just like follow this path and they just go from step A to step B. And they're a lot more complex.
Yes.
And
yeah.
I like that complexity.
And we kind of see that too when we think of Elzar Man and kind of the journey that he was on, which we really didn't see him in the comics, but very heavy in the books.
Yes, heavy in the books. Mm-hmm.
His character and where he was and where he went and where he now is after, the latest adult novels. That was a cool journey too.
Right. So the shocking news here is that they're ready to knight her if she feels ready. And she says she's not sure, which is interesting because her whole life, this has been her goal. She's going to be the best Jedi ever, the greatest. And
that's what she says too. What I think in the very first issue or second
very first issue. Yeah.
I am going to be the greatest.
Yes. And she has this opportunity. It's in her lap and she's not certain now. So that's gives us pause. Then we get back to the Star Hopper and everybody's there. And of course, everybody's happy because they have Crix. And we have the new batch of Padawans joining, right? New younglings.
Batch of Padawan or younglings.
New younglings, yes. New younglings,
sorry.
Soon to be Padawans.
Yeah.
And then cool. we hear court language, which I'm dying to hear what that sounds like. Because I know what it looks like in the little speech bubbles, but I want to hear it.
It would be cool to see that in live action, what that sounds like. Yeah.
So Disney, come on, give it to us. Give us in a live action show or an animation.
I'd love something live action would be cool.
Yeah. Or even animation. If we can get animation so we can hear them.
Yeah, animation would be sweet too. Probably be a little bit easier.
Yeah. So Court hears the language. Here's Court. He's like, what is that? And he looks back and it's a little tiny baby Quart. So, and he starts speaking to him and he of course recognizes the language. He starts, they're bonding here. And I love this. I just think it's so awesome because he felt all alone because he was, of course, abandoned, had never seen any other of his kind.
Yeah,
and now,
very true. Very true.
I think it's very, very nice, very bonding effect here. And so then they start speaking. So I'm assuming he's saying, "My name is Court. What's your name?" You know, just inferencing. And then the little guy is like, "Zint."
Yeah, this is a great name.
Yes.
What we've noticed so far is they're very simple, even though their names are not normal, but they're 4 letters. No, just
and I love the joy in his face to be so happy.
Yeah, very cool.
And I think that him too, you see his eyes and it's like, he looks so relieved.
Right. Yeah. He may have never seen another of his kind either.
Right.
We don't know.
Right.
We don't know his backstory. So.
And then little Zint points to him and says, "So you're Court?" And he's probably saying, "Yes, I am." He says something else. He looks very touching his heart. He's happy. Oh, and then they embrace. I love that. So he doesn't feel so alone. Because imagine, I'm sure Court is thinking back how lonely he must have felt. And
right. Yeah, because he basically was tutelaged under Maz and Sav, right? Sav on
and Yoda. Yoda took over. So so very nice. And then we flip over to, of course, the he's in prison, right? He's been captured.
Yep. He's now in the cell.
And this cell looks very, I mean, it looks like the cell that you're in when you go on Rise of the Resistance, when you've been captured. You've been on it.
Haven't been there, haven't done it yet.
Oh, okay, no spoilers.
Hopefully the Wednesday before Celebration.
I want to ride with you.
All right.
For sure.
Let's do it.
But yeah, so anyway, I like that touch was like, oh, it looks like the same cells. So then Zine comes in to talk to him. And of course, Zine and Crix were like brother and sister.
Yeah.
They were so close when they were young, and then they've just grown so far apart. Their choices in life have pulled them in opposite directions.
Yeah, it's good dialogue here.
It is.
You know, he's very, very stuck in his way, not going to give up any information. You know, I am who I am. You are who you are. And we're just not on the same page anymore. But I do love how the next couple pages are written, because then you kind of see something happen that you're like, wait, that just happened.
Mm-hmm. So. And this also ties in very directly to Midnight Horizon, because there's a lot more detail in the book, of course. And so when I like seeing this
where
here,
the mission takes place and who goes. Yep.
Right. So love that. So they're just having some dialogue. He's like, "Go ahead and destroy me. I'm ready to be sacrificed." Like, you think I'm going to do that? And then, but Zine, of course, is not a Jedi, so she's not bound by the Jedi way.
Correct.
And he doesn't know that, though. And she's like interrogating him and talking to him. And just having a good conversation with him. And this gave me a feel of like when Kylo Ren was going into everybody's minds to get the information.
A little bit more so, like what I felt here was really specifically Kylo to Poe Dameron.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And then, but in the book, if you read the Midnight Horizon, she can't really do it. She's just pretending, right?
Right.
So, but he doesn't know that. So he's thinking, "Oh my gosh, she's invading my private space." And then it goes on flips back over to Quart and Zint, and they're bonding and meditating.
Yep.
And then Farzala comes in and says, "Hey, Quart, they want us to," he's like, "Oh.
Yeah. Squirrel."
Yeah. And he sees them meditating.
It's such a great a great moment. Like he's like, they want us to do. Yeah, never mind. I'm going to come hang out with you guys.
Yeah, because I guess this meditation stuff is pretty cool for Jedi.
Yeah.
They like this, so he's going to join them on the meditation. So it's part of the
Which
fun
turns
stuff.
into be a
Jedi
little
gets.
bit more not meditation, but a little bit more fun and games that we'll find out here pretty soon.
Yeah, but it looks like it's good Jedi bonding, and
Yes, absolutely.
he comes in. Now it's a triad. They're floating this jug. And then it goes back to, we flip over to Lula. And Lula's watching as Zine is interrogating Crix, right?
Yeah.
And then Crix is like, oh, he's like, you can't do that. That's not the Jedi way. And
right.
And Zena's like, do you see any Jedi here? Because she's not a Jedi.
Right.
And it reminds me of like Ahsoka, I'm no Jedi, right? I love that because like we're not bound by those rules.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're not Jedi, which is pretty cool. I really like that a lot. And I've posted that a few times, that I'm no Jedi. And some people think I'm being negative about it, but I actually love that because it shows that, you know, only the Jedi are bound by those rules. If you're not a Jedi, but you still are force sensitive, you can do whatever you want.
Yes, which I think is actually discussed on the very next page.
So, oh, and there's Ty Yorick.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So, but that's all. Oh no, here she is. That's all we see of her.
That's where she's at on the page because we talk. Lula talks like, well, we met Ty Yorick, which was back on Valo during the Republic Fair incident with denial, and that's when she's like, well, she left the Jedi Order and she seems to be doing just fine.
Right, and that's also when Jamaram joined them too. So our team got all connected there. But this is a good callback to that book too, when the attack on Valo. So let's see that. So here we have Lula, and she's thinking all these things, and we see her that she's bonded with Zine, and she's watching how Zine's interrogating Crix, and she's struggling with all these thoughts because, of course, she's been offered to be knighted, but it's up to her to choose if she would like to. And so she's struggling with that decision, and she's not sure exactly what to do. And it's interesting because that's what's from the beginning, that's all she's ever wanted to do is be knighted and be the greatest Jedi ever.
Zine comes into the picture, and kind of we see that change, and we kind of see that a little bit with Anakin, right? When it comes with Padme.
And it's not just Zine, it's everyone else too, because even Ty Yorick, you know, everything she's experienced since is showing her there isn't just the one path. There are divergent paths.
Well, yeah, if you look at a guy like Ram Jamaram, for instance, you know, he's not a typical Jedi because he likes to really tinker and build stuff.
Right.
More so than, you know, have lightsaber battles and train. Like he rather, you know, look what he did with his droid.
Right. And also what he
became like a nuclear, you know, rocket at one point.
Yeah, that's right. And not only that, but he can also help by doing tinkering with the mechanics of other ships, like to sabotage.
Yeah.
So not very what you would think of Jedi doing.
Correct. Exactly.
They just jump in and fight, but he doesn't.
Right.
He takes a step back and says, hey, what if I do this? Starts tinkering, and it has a greater effect. So very interesting. I like that a lot. And so then on this page, we find out that Lula's like, oh, you see that? She's like, she did it because Zine in her interrogation got Crix to spill the beans.
Yeah.
And of course, he mentions about the moon above Corellia.
Yeah, Gus Talon.
Gus Talon. And that's where everybody was going, but now they know it's a trap.
Yeah. And
so
this is where we're kind of pick up into the perfect send-off for this, but then, you know, really a more conclusive story within, you know, that book.
And so then Zine's like, okay, that's enough. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, he does. It almost feels like he still has feelings for her because he says, I love, and then she's like, stow it.
Yeah.
I don't need it.
She's definitely not a Jedi.
Yeah. But she also knows that, you know, hey, whatever we had before is not what I want now. What I want now is, you know, that very next embrace
Right.
with Lula.
So she comes out and she's very emotional, and she does hug Lula because it's been trying for her because they were like brother and sister. That was her family.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was definitely a she went in and did what she had to do, but it was also like, I'm putting this chapter of my life behind me now. And that's always hard. That's always hard.
And it's good she's getting that closure, because I think she really needed that from Crix, because that's really what she needed from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Is how to find that closure, because she couldn't leave him at the beginning. She felt too bonded to him, and now she's ready to go. She's grown, and she realizes, even though it is hard, it's the right thing to do.
Yep.
So then Lula hugs her and comforts her, and she's like, "Oh, I'm okay. We've got things to do." She's like, "Have they contacted the others?" Like, "Nope, nothing's going through the comms." And she's like, "What? None?"
Right. Yeah. And this is where we see her just kind of take her own initiative and leave. Because she feels it's the right thing to do, is to hop aboard the Starhopper or Skyhopper and go to Gus Town.
Yeah, and on twofold though, because it's the right thing for her to do to help the others, but also because she realizes that she might be a hindrance for Lula. See, and she tells her, "I need you too."
Yep.
So that's when we find out that they have very, very strong feelings for each other. And they are like a dyadic force.
Yeah.
So it's really difficult for them. Very touching moment between the two.
And off she goes.
She hops in and says, "Well, gotta go." And she takes off.
Yep. And we see a little bit more dialogue with Lula. She now kind of feels like she has her path. She knows that what she wants to do. And it's not necessarily not being a Jedi Knight, right? Because she really doesn't know. Like at this point, she still wants to figure out what her, should I be a knight or should I go that way of like a Ty York?
Mm-hmm. But the good thing is she does know that no matter what happens, she's ready for any path that is ahead of her.
Yep.
So it's good for her. It's a good strengthening moment for her. And then here we have levitation.
Yes. Meditation turned into love.
Yeah. Which is something that they also do in the, where was it with, oh my gosh, with Ram Jamaram. And he becomes really good friends with, who's the other Jedi? The other guy. They're like best buds. Ram and, is it Reef? Reef.
Okay.
And one of the times that they're meditating like this, they're practicing and they're like, "Well, try to levitate yourself." And they can't do it. And then Ram's like, "Well, I can levitate other things. What if I levitate you and then you levitate me?" Yeah. And they do that. They levitate each other. And so this reminded me of that too.
Well, so you see a lot of the bond between Farzal and Quart too.
Yes.
Like their friendship and everything like that. So this whole time, we've been kind of building this Lula and Zine thing up, but Quart and Farzal have been through a lot together too, and they've been here this entire time. They've kind of formed their own, like kinship. It's a little bit different.
It's true. And I remember a lot of times from the beginning, you would see them in the background always together. They didn't have dialogue, but they were always together in the background scenes. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, they're there, but they're just kind of like together. Right. But this just reinforces that even though we didn't hear any dialogue, something was going on between them where they were bonding and growing. And here we can really see them. So I like this a lot too. We finally get to see them in their friendship and how close they are. And so they're floating Zint up and he's loving it. And then we have the OG3 saying, "There you are. Have you guys seen Lula?" They're like, "No, actually, no. She went with Zine to interrogate Crix."
Mm-hmm.
So they don't know all of this that's just happened.
Right.
And then, I don't know if they dropped.
And I think this is where we find out what Buckets of Blood there says, "Oh, we have another," and I'm just drawing a blank on it's Arvalian or something. Arvalian. He names actually what Court and Zint are right there. I don't know if it's in the pink panel. It's over in the yellow panel.
Aloxian.
There we go. Okay. Yep.
I see we have a new Aloxian.
Yes.
So that's what they are. They're Aloxians.
That's what Court and Zint are.
Mm.
And I don't know if it's been referenced before then, because I would think I would remember that. So I think Bucket of Blood there just gave us a nice little Easter egg.
That's a big deal because that's kind of like finding out what Yoda is, because we didn't know. They've never said it in the books. A little bit of a mystery, but I'm a firm believer of let's never know what Grogu and Yaddle and Yoda are ever. Me too. Yeah. But it was cool to see this little Zint falling on Buck.
Yeah, that was a cool.
Yeah. Meet us on the bridge. That gave me a Star Trek feel. Because I don't know, has it been called bridge before in Star Wars? It's called bridge a lot in Star Trek. I know that.
No, I think yes, they do reference that a few times in Star Wars. Yes.
Okay. So here they are. And you know what? Zint looks like he's bonding with Master Buck too.
Right. Yeah.
Let's feel some kind of connection. Here we go. They're going to find out what's happening with Lula.
So she comes barging back in.
Yep.
And kind of just lays out what her path is for the time being.
Mm-hmm. And then Master Buck asked her again, have you thought about what we talked about, which was, are you ready? Do you want to be knighted?
Yeah.
And even though this is what she had always wanted and would have said yes.
Mm-hmm. And they understand, right? And that's the thing. Like there's nobody there that has any hard feelings. I feel like if that was hey, if we were in like the prequel area, right? And somebody was to be knighted and they said, I don't know if I want to do that. They might not even make it to the, to the Jedi Order. Like they may just be, well, if you're not ready to be knighted, then maybe you're not ready to be part of the Jedi Order.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you were a lot more closed-minded, I think.
Yeah,
at that point.
We saw what happened with Ahsoka, right? Like Ahsoka was, it was almost like she was guilty till proven innocent. Like, the council had to apologize to her and invite her back in. And she's like, no, I don't want to do that. And she, everyone said she walked away from the order. She really didn't. She was forced out and they asked her back in and she said, no, I'm done. And then she left. So.
Right. Well, because she couldn't see herself being part of an organization that didn't trust and believe in its members.
Yeah. No, it's great because I absolutely, love the way her arc went and her character and everything is just, it's phenomenal. It's one of my favorites.
I agree. Me too. So then she is now informing them all that she's not sure. She says, I don't know if it's for me to be knighted, not yet. So she's not saying no like Ahsoka did, but she's not ready to do it now. But because she's ready to do something else.
Yep.
And they're all okay with it.
And we got to see here, Quarton and Farzad, really saying, I thought this is basically what you wanted. And they kind of have a conversation of, it's just not right now.
Mm-hmm.
But she's very happy that they are about to be knighted, which is something that we kind of didn't see coming. When they got them together, why, we all thought it was just going to be Lula, but ended up being both Court and Farzad get knighted, which we obviously see on the very next page.
Right, because they were all part of the same group that came in, the same class, I would say.
Yep. They were
youngling
all
class
together. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They were all the ones on that ship with Yoda when he took him on that field trip.
Yeah.
When they found Z.
Ended up being an Annihil attack and all that.
Let's talk about baptism by fire, right?
Yes, correct.
And so then here we are. So it's Lula with Lula with Farzala and Quart. And they're all, of course, really good friends. They've gone through a lot together. And here we hear Farzala, Quart, by the right of the council, by the will of the Force, we name thee Jedi, Knights of the Republic,
Yep.
Protectors of Light. And they get their little raids.
Yep.
Yeah. And she's happy for them. And I love this. It's so pretty. It's so
I noticed that thought there. It's blended, right? It's not blue and it's not pink. It's that blended thing again.
But that blending is usually what we see with Zine and Lula.
Yep.
So I'm wondering, what is this blending from?
Right.
Do you think that Zine is watching it too or feeling it?
Or we don't know.
Is she present there with Lula or through Lula? And then we have here for light and life, and they've been knighted.
Yes, which is sweet.
And it says the end.
The end.
But not, it's the end of this series, but not the end of their stories, because I'm sure there's a lot more coming. About our friends. So what did you think, Bryce?
I really like this issue. I reread this, about 20 minutes before. I had a firm grasp on what issue 12 was before we got in, because I'd read that a few times. But yeah, I reread this right before. It's a really cool issue, but it also, like, now we don't know what's going to happen. What's Lula's story going forward? What's Quart's story going forward? What's Farzala's story? Zine's story? We don't know. We won't know that for quite a while, because the next phase, now that this is done, the next phase kicks off in October, and it's going into a prequel area. Mm-hmm. So again, the only character that's going to tie this whole thing together is going to be Yoda. Maybe some of the other Jedi that we've seen that are quite older than him, we may see pop up, in some of these writings that are coming up, but now it's
not our younglings, not our young Padawan friends,
right? But their stories, like, in the balance, like, wait, what's Lula and Zine going to do? Like, are we going to learn about that in phase 3 when it comes out, a whole year from October? So
it's going to be a lot of rereadings for me in that time. So
absolutely.
A lot stronger base and understanding of it all. But I do like that in Midnight Horizon, we do find a little bit more of what happens after this.
Good.
So it's nice. So if you haven't read that,
I need to get on that book.
You're gonna like it. It's a really good book. I highly recommend it. So any final thoughts, Bryce?
Love the series. Obviously was hoping IDW would continue. I thought Daniel Jose Older did such a great job with this series. But excited to see, Dark Horse coming back. They've had some of the best Star Wars comics to date, period.
Absolutely.
So having them come back. We have Claudia Gray Hellman, the Dark Horse comic. So that's going to be interesting. She's the only returning writer from the Luminous 5 that we're used to now. She's going to be the only one coming back. Everybody else is all brand new. I mean, we've seen writings for them, before with some of the mainline books, but be very interesting to see what October brings. But yeah,
I agree.
Great series. Loved reviewing these. Loved reading them. Get to do a couple more fun issues with the annual and the Bake Off, which is just a once off. It's tremendous. So
it is so fun, and it's also connected to the books too. So I like that.
Yeah.
And I just noticed there was a third variant cover here that I hadn't seen in League of Comic Geeks, but it's here in the comic. So,
yeah, that must have been probably one of the more rare ones there.
Yeah, it says an online exclusive cover.
Okay, probably through a convention or something would be my guess.
Pretty cool, because here we have all three. We have Lula, Zine, and Brix, and we have Shirley Beacon.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, awesome.
Well, thank you for joining us. For Light and Life, may the Force be with you, and looking forward to seeing you again at our next show.
Yes.